Ian, great meeting you. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us today. Before we start, please tell us briefly who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure being here. I am Ian Gauci. I am the managing partner of a law firm in Malta. We're here as part of the team of the contingent of Finance Malta. We're practically showcasing what Malta has achieved in the fintech and financial services realm.
Okay, great. So I guess maybe just a general question. So it's early days, the first day of Nordic Fintech Week. How do you experience the ambience, the environment? What's your opinion of the conference so far?
Well, I'm actually quite surprised. It's quite focused. I think there is the right influx of people. It's not that there is an enormous amount of traffic, but the right influx of people. And quite honestly, it's quite an intriguing market, particularly for Malta. So
right.
I'm quite intrigued.
Okay, then for me, the immediate question is, why has Finance Malta chosen to be present here in the Nordics in an event in Copenhagen?
Why not?
Okay, that's a very good answer. Why not?
Well, let me tell you, we've been participating in events with Finance Malta for the past years. Usually they choose spots, they choose places where we see that there's going to be interest, and aside from interest, where they see prospect as well. So obviously, I think their inkling about Nordic, from what I'm seeing, it's quite accurate. There is interest. I think the attendees are all quite focused in the area, so I see prospects coming from the North. And we have a lot of Nordic operators as well working in Malta. I mean, Nordic countries are quite large, so there's always been a lot of interest, so it's quite logical to be here.
Right, okay, well, I'd love to double click on that. But so first, for those who have not yet considered Malta as a place to go and establish your business, can you tell us what would be the main benefits that Nordic companies could experience from considering Malta as a place to base their operations?
Well, there's a plethora of benefits. You start from the corporate, fiscal, but ultimately if you're focusing on fintech and financial services, so you have the technological predisposition, sandbox and all the rest, the fact that we're a small island and we invest heavily on that, and that is at the heart of all fintech and financial services, okay? And then, particularly with regards to fintech and financial services, so we're speaking here predominantly e-money, payment services and crypto.
Yeah.
Malta has a regulator which is very well versed in this particular sector. We've been regulating this for years now. E-money, I think we have approximately 50 to 55 licensed DMIs. Crypto, we've regulated crypto way back from 2017.
Right.
So we had a MiCA equivalent regulation way back from 2017. So we regulated that area as well, even payment. So you have a regulator which, maybe contrary to other regulators, understands the complexities, understands as well certain business cases which might, in today's world as well, have a convergent aspect where you converge payments, monies, and crypto together.
Right.
So that is why you choose Malta. And then you have as well skill set of people, and that's what Finance Malta is presenting as well, aside from the island. Skill set of people, law firms who are specialized in this area, who will definitely assist their clients in and even outside of Malta, because we're speaking about a European dimension, and the same laws apply.
Right. Maybe it's also good for people to understand that Malta, the official language of Malta is Maltese, and English is also one of the
second language.
It's a second language, right? So everyone can operate in the language, right?
It's an English-speaking country, yes.
So it's very similar to the Nordics, that they have their own language, but everyone speaks fluently English, and it's a very easy and accessible way of doing business.
We're more Mediterranean than the Nordics, so you can compare us more to the Greeks or Sicilians or Italians, but yes.
Right. And I assume also the weather is an added plus of being based in Malta.
Yes. It's hot, the weather is nice, we're surrounded by sea as well, so it's a blissful place to be, even for families. It's very safe. Small island in the middle of the Mediterranean, so to a certain extent it would add to the allure if people had to come invest and bring their families and their business to Malta.
Of course, it doesn't hurt having nice weather, sunny days, and beautiful food as well, right? Okay, now you mentioned that the regulator is one of the main benefits that the companies can experience from coming to Malta. And what we've seen is that the regulator is fundamental in helping foster the development of the fintech ecosystem in various countries. Now, how would you describe the regulator in terms of openness, in terms of accessibility, and in terms of the way in that they engage with companies that come to Malta to find base their operations?
Let me take you 2 steps back.
Yeah.
It's true the regulator, but the regulator is part of an ecosystem. We've had certain ecosystems which, because of the Maltese ingenuity, flourished. For example, if you take gaming, okay, we created a gaming hub, we created gaming legislation, which is still sort of absent within the EU. I think the same thing was replicated, is being replicated as well in financial services. Financial service is a little bit easier because you have harmonized regulations, harmonized directives. But even there, where we did not have, we came up with a crypto regulation, which practically now MiCAR takes 80 to 85% from what we wrote.
Okay.
So this is part as well of our national agenda. We're small, we need to push business, we need to bring business to Malta. We need as well to push the expertise of our local professionals.
Yeah.
So government has been investing heavily in this. I believe that is reflected as well with the authorities that we have, for example, aside from the MFSA, who is the financial service regulator, who helps the industry, who's pushing the industry, who is a very stern regulator who understands these complex scenarios. Why? Because to a certain extent, they are ready to license these complex scenarios where these make sense, where there is value, where the risk is manageable. Not every regulator can do that. Okay? But we have other regulators as well. So in this ambit where you have regulations like DORA, which specifically tackles the technology side, the resiliency, okay, where you have specific as well pen testing authorities now. We have as well, way back from 2017, crafted, catered for a specific technology authority in Malta. Technology authority, which now will come handy as well when you have the Cyber Resiliency Act, we have the AI Act, we have specific now sectors, horizontal, technology horizontals, where you need a specific regulator. You might tell me, okay, but what is the relevance with financial services? When you are nurturing startups, when you are nurturing new businesses, when you are nurturing a technology which might become a startup, we have sandboxes.
Yeah.
And the sandbox is not only service sandbox, it's a service sandbox, and you tie in the technology as well, and you have the expertise of at least 2 authorities, because then you will definitely have the expertise of the data protection authority coming in, where you have a lot of data processing, which will be in place because you need to do data protection impact assessment, and the cyber security part as well, because now the regulation is heavy on cyber security, cyber resiliency. So to a certain extent, we're trying to anticipate the next phase and preparing startups and existing operators as well to the regulation yet to come, or to the regulation which is there practically knocking at our doors.
Right.
So this is, I would say, a mentality. It's a national mentality, and that mentality is pushed, it's transfused through our regulators as well.
Right. Okay, now let me ask you something that we encounter in markets that are smaller in terms of population, which is that they often find challenges in getting the right talent and the number of talent. So how is Malta dealing with that to ensure that there's sufficient influx of talent to staff these companies?
Listen, it's the same thing. So we started a process, I think, way back 4 or 5 years ago. We needed to nurture university as well. We create a specific course, for example, in Malta. Given that we were going to tap into crypto, into technology, we created a specific master course, which at that point in time focused on blockchain, crypto, entrepreneurship, and legal. So there we wanted to start pushing people to take particular courses, to get particular skill sets, so that when the time came to fruition, and when we were honing around the ecosystem we wanted to build, we would have the right expertise, skill sets. That is not enough because we're small. We try to attract people to work to Malta. There are specific tax incentive schemes for high-skilled individuals working within companies, so that they set up in Malta. There's remote as well as working. I mean, Malta obviously embraces remote working. And aside from that as well, we try, I think we will try as well to get Maltese brains who are working abroad back to Malta. The problem is there. I think it's a prevalent problem even for larger countries, but with more nomadicity, I think more interconnectivity, as long as the country and the people have the correct predisposition. Till now, we did not have any particular operators or license applicants who grumbled or had problems because they could not recruit the right personnel.
Right, okay.
I mean, similar to Europe, we have specific as well visa programs and everything for third country nationals who play a particular role You might have, for example, a third country national who is a founder who created the technology of the particular payment provider, okay? Or he's extremely specialized in that area where you can't find an equivalent in Malta or in Europe, where in that case, even there, Malta would have the particular company to get him on board, he will be employed and he will reside in Malta. So, all in all, we try to cater for the respective requirements of the different businesses as they come along.
Okay. Now, just to close, Ian, you mentioned that there's already quite an active relationship between the Nordics and Malta. Could you give me examples of companies from the Nordics that have successfully established their presence in Malta?
I will definitely, I can't give names, but if you look, because there are companies, they might be as well equity, but Nordics, Swedes, the Norwegians, the Danish, I mean, Finns, several companies in Malta. I think they have been operating as well within the gambling industry, so they find Malta attractive as well, at least the context, the clients we have as well, because of the environment, the Maltese people and the weather. But aside from that, I presume, I'm pretty sure, it makes good business sense for them. So yes, we have a lot, even in the payment and crypto ecosystem.
Okay.
Some interesting propositions are coming even from Nordic startups.
Very good. All right, Ian, well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure having Malta here represented in the Nordics. Great meeting you. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.